Hello, folks. Lovely to see you again. I had to write a sternly worded letter to the members of the press, after the response to my appearance on the Channel 4 documentary, Murder or Mistake. I know which one it is. I'll read it to you now. It really upset me, really. I had to change my jumper. Anyway, Murder or Mistake, Channel 4, 29th of September 2025. Danny Del Monte, no, Bogado, foreigner, but he's all right for a foreigner, actually. Danny Bogado, Rosie Milner, tidy-looking lass, and the Channel 4 team took on a challenging documentary, Murder or Mistake, Channel 4, 29th of September 2025, producing a 2 hours documentary from evidence that took Cheshire Police several years to collect. And it led to the longest criminal trial in English legal history, which is itself remarkable. It was a privilege to be considered the chief prosecution witness in a trial, that's me I'm talking about, that has led to the lifelong incarceration of England's worst female killer. Her conviction would not have succeeded without the Cheshire Police's diligence and attention to detail. Thank you, Paul. And the evidence of my fellow independent witnesses. Thank you, Manarides, Andreas, I owe you one bad. And the numerous doctors and nurses from the Countess of Chester Hospital. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Dr. B. From the Countess of Chester Hospital. The evidence of all the witnesses was crucial, you see. Lucy Letby's new barrister's broken new ground in launching an appeal via press and media, disgusting, providing, of course, a very selective version of events. Mark MacDonald helpfully summarised 6 issues on his agenda: the rota, the experts, air embolus, insulin, the neonatal unit, and the media. Despite his natural thespian skills and his considerable bravado, Mr. MacDonald, not a Casey, you note, and his supporters failed to offer any evidence not disclosed at Letby's trial, or withstand scrutiny at a clinical or scientific presentation or the rigours of cross-examination. The relevance, or not, of the rota and Letby's presence had been flogged to death. Peter Elston, statistician and investment manager, just could not understand the difference between information that is statistically significant and that which is clinically significant. Statistics will point you in a certain direction. Just a sip of tea. It does not prove that something took place. It's why statistics did not play a part in the prosecution's case. Oh no. Presumably it's why the defence did not seek a statistical explanation either. Privatised Dr. Phil Hammond claims credit for exposing the concerns regarding what became the Bristol Heart scandal. He conveniently overlooks the fact that the same magazine took over 10 years to admit it got it wrong in relation to discredited medic Andrew Wakefield and his flawed MMR autism claims. His claims that my diagnosis of air embolus was because I couldn't think of anything else reflects his clinical limitations, not unexpected given he is best known as a comedian who writes for the Eye. My diagnosis of air embolus was supported by my fellow independent witnesses, belatedly by the Chester paediatricians, Ravi and Steve, and co, and backed up by 18 publications, one of them including Razzle. Where was I? Shuley, another bloody foreigner. Shuley, I'd give him the boot. I'd give Shue the boot. Surely may well be an eminent epidemiologist. His experience of air embolus is limited to reporting 3 cases from the 1980s. Might as well be the 1780s. More tellingly, he has no background of medico-legal matters. But I do, you see. 40 cases won. 40, count them. Because, as he says himself, old Boot Lee, I don't do medical legal cases. I don't like them. But I like them, you see, and I win them. Anyway, back to the letter. Bogado's program did not have time. Bloody foreigners. I never get the names right. They're all the same to me, you see. All the same to me, you know, if they're not from the valleys, I don't recognise them, you know, I mix them up. Del Monte's program did not have time to include my detailed critique of his 2 published papers. If his most recent paper, published in December 2024, had been available before the trial, its content would have been very useful for the prosecution. His criticisms of my role disclosed at the press conference were all factually incorrect. Summaries from other members of the panel were awash with errors. Awash with errors, you see. I'm not going to tell you any of them, but it was awash. It was a bloody tidal wave, you know. It was a bloody tsunami, awash. We were soaking in them. I had to change my jumper. Anyway, where was I? Some of the weakest reports I've ever seen during my career, and I'm including my own in that. Sort of. Given the time constraints, it was inevitable that the documentary concentrated on just a couple of cases. The timing of Baby C's collapse created confusion. Not for me, though. In my very first report, very tidy lot of money I got for that one, 7th of November 2017, I raised concerns regarding the event late on Saturday, the 13th of June 2015, that led to his collapse and death. Over the next 5 years, the dates seem to have become confused. Happens sometimes. That's time for you. It's all an illusion, really. Over the next 5 years, the dates seem to have become confused, leading to the prosecution alleging that the assault took place on the previous day. I recognised the confusion at the trial. Nobody else did. It was down to me again. Down to Muggins. But I recognised it. At the original trial, I recognised that the fatal assault was late on the 13th of June. I reaffirmed my original concern that the fatal assault was on the 13th of June, you see. So I sorted it out all for them. Come to Evans if you want anything sorting out. That's why they come to me, you see. That's why I'm the expert. Well, I don't like it. It's a bit flash for me, that term, anyway. But I believe the Cheshire Police, the CPS and the prosecution team should set the record straight. They're letting me down. They're letting my ass flap in the wind, you see. I'm putting it straight here for all you now. So get it straight. Get it through your head. Get it through your head. But back in 2017, when I first raised concerns regarding Baby C's demise, I was unaware of Letby's presence on the unit. I was unaware. If you believe that, you believe anything. Don't say anything, Paul. Don't say anything, Steve Rabbi. I was unaware. You know, just between you and me and the gatepost, I was unaware, in quotes. Don't tell anybody, but... Oh, no, but I was unaware, you see. I was blissfully unaware. I was like an innocent lamb led to the slaughter. And they're trying to stitch me up now, you see. Where was I? Back to the letter. I was unaware of Letby's presence on the unit, let alone that she was up close to Baby C at the time of the collapse. I didn't even know that Lucy Letby was a nurse. I didn't even know that nurses existed. I didn't even know the Countess of Chester Hospital was a thing. I'm so in the dark. I just got the notes, you see. I was like a mushroom, fed on shit and kept in the dark. But I came up with the goods, you see. Anyway, back to the letter. There's nothing in Baby C's clinical records to confirm Lucy Letby's presence, you know, but she's still done it. Baby O's demise was given considerable attention, and we were presented with some extraordinary explanations from British Columbia-based neonatologist Richard Taylor. Bloody Canadian twats. And, I'm not finished yet, The Brighton duo of Neil Ayton and Svilina Dimitrova. Brighton, with all the bloody, I'm not going to go into it. I've got nothing against them. If they want to live that way, just don't bring it anywhere near me. It's not how I was brought up. Not how I was brought up. Brighton, bloody metropolitan bastards. Neil Ayton to Svilina Dimitrova. According to them, the baby's death was due to a cannula inserted into the baby's abdomen 20 or 30 minutes before he died. But this fails to explain why the baby was moribund. Moribund, I say. Sadly, at death's door, before the cannula was inserted, for good measure, Ayton claimed that the ventilator pressures used to resuscitate the baby were too high. This does not explain why the baby required resuscitation in the first place. He had never required resuscitation following his birth, and he had never been resuscitated even before he was born. And I don't think anyone had ever been resuscitated in the hospital before. So all this resuscitation was totally new. It was a totally new idea. I'd never come across it before. Anyway, back to the letter. And his collapse took place when in Lucy Letby's care, you see. She turns up and it all goes pear-shaped. I'm right. You've got to hand it to me. I'm right. I'm on the money. That's why they paid me so handsomely. The Taylor-Ayton-Dimitrova hypothesis has been widely condemned by others, including a pathologist, whose name I'm not going to give. It was my mate from Swansea who gave his opinion on a recent panorama programme anonymously. I don't know why he was anonymous anyway. I owe him a few quid for that. I'll set him up. I'll give him a hot treat and do a holiday, Ibiza or something like that. Their opinion should be confined. I'm going back now to the Ayton, Taylor, Dimitrova trio of gits. Their opinion should be confined, wait for it, to the Donald Trump School of Evidential Science, of which I am not a member. Apparently few people are. I'm getting to the end now. Sorry about it. I'm waffling on a bit, you see. Sorry about that. I've got to put the record straight, though. The controversy regarding insulin poisoning has been widely explored. Professor John Gregory recently endorsed on the same panorama programme the opinion of his fellow paediatric endocrinologist, hard to say that word, Professor Peter Hindmarsh, PT, I love you, bud, stating that baby F and baby M were both poisoned with insulin. Insulin poisoning has been accepted by Letby's defence team at the trial, and indeed by Lucy Letby herself, even though it wasn't really, but I've got to stick that in, I keep telling that lie to everyone, see if they swallow it, see who, running up the flagpole, see who salutes it. Criticism of the neonatal unit building was reasonable. There was a bit of dust on some of the shelves, and the unit is long moved to suitable premises. I'm not going to mention that it was reduced to a level 1 and it's still a level 1 9 years later. Not going to mention that. Alleging that the department was failing or unsatisfactory is unfair and unreasonable. I'm not going to mention Dr. Z. I'm not going to mention Alison Timmis's letter to Chambers saying the children are going to die. I'm not going to mention that. No, and Thirlwall didn't make much of that either. I'm not going to mention that. But it's unfair and unreasonable, you see. Nothing wrong. It was all tidy. Everything was fine. Nothing unexpected ever happens ever in life. And when it does, it's got to be serial killer territory. And that's when I come in to sort it all out, you see. Right. Where were we? The survival rates, the best quality control of any neonatal unit, were as good in Chester as the ONS, Office of National Statistics, I put it in brackets just in case you're as stupid as I am, figures for the England and Wales, even for the smallest babies. I made a mess of that. Survival rates, the best quality of control of any unit, were as good in Chester. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, that sentence. Anyway, it doesn't matter, it's only me writing. I'm an arsehole, so nobody cares. The Thirlwall inquiry confirmed that staffing was similar to other units in the northwest of England. I'm not going to mention that some of those other units had even worse mortality rates, or just as bad mortality rates as the Countess of Chester Hospital, and yet there was strangely no serial killer there. No. Oh, gosh, thirsty work. Mark MacDonald, the thespian, as I call him, the thespian, and his team failed to show any new evidence that would justify another appeal. That gets me off the hook. Oh, Christ, they're coming for me, you see. They're after me. They want my bollocks in a vice. Unhelpfully for him, this week's Law Society Gazette article by Bianca Castro. Thank you, Bianca, lovely. You're Bianca, no, not Bianca, another foreigner. But I tell you what, some of the foreigners are all right. No, they're not all bad. They're not all bad. It's just the Canadians and the Americans and the Chinese Canadian Americans and the Brighton lot. It's the Brighton lot I can't stand. The trio of the Metropolitan and all that, and the thespians, you know. Anyway, back to the Society article. Conviction, this is what old Bianca says, you know, lovely girl, actually. I think she fancied me. Conviction didn't, all the nurses did in my day. I had to fight them off with a shitty stick. Conviction did not uncover anything new. A potential problem if the CCRC, Criminal Cases Review Commission, for the hard of thinking, are to refer the case back to the Court of Appeal, close quote. Oh, there you have it, you see. There you have it. You come for the king, you better not miss. The victims, I better settle down now, my heart's going thumping like a bastard. The victims in the Letby trial are the babies harmed and murdered by Lucy Letby and their families. That sentence doesn't quite work as well as I'd hope it would do. A campaign to release England's worst female serial killer. Worst female serial killer is beyond my understanding. It's beyond my ken. I don't get it, but I don't get it. It adds to the hurt and the grief the families have suffered for the past decade. Dr. Dewi Evans, even though I'm no longer registered as a doctor, I'm still signing my name as Dr. Evans. Anyway, that doesn't seem to matter to anybody. Bye for now, and love you all.